we will end a little bit, couple of minutes early so that people like me can sign on to Yiskor and participate in that service at 10 o'clock. Calendar. Wednesday, May 31st, that's the Wednesday coming, is current events. Hear this language. The final current events classes are June 14 and June 28. Okay, so June 14, June 28 is when those classes will conclude. What we have is we're running a parallel to Rabbi Nana's classes. She told me yesterday she's ending the last days in June. We should do the same, and so we are.
Those are just for the summer, right?
Of course.
Okay,
Of course.
making sure.
Now, Cindy, I know that there's stuff going on.
Wait a minute, but Israel's continuing to operate all summer. This doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing. Who's speaking?
Steve is speaking. And it seems to me as long as Israel is functioning, there are current events for us to discuss.
Yeah, that's a very good thought. And I'm grateful to you for your thought. Do take it up with Rabbi Nanas, who is my supervisor. Okay. Cindy, high tea.
Okay, so June we'll be having either the second or third Tuesday, I'm not sure, our happy hour. The last Friday we'll have Shabbat dinner at Froman's. June 7th is an open board meeting at a private home. And June 13th is our end of the year luncheon, which will be a high tea at Ye Old King's Head. And we'll be inviting staff. So a chance to kind of, for some of the people to get to know the clergy and staff and for them to get to know us.
Okay, that's it. That's a lot, but I mean, yeah, that's it. Okay, and I don't have anything about films. Anyone know anything? No. Okay.
I know that the dates for Film Society during June are June 17th and June 24th. But I don't have any information about what the films are. I just
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now we're going to do a little bit of checking in. We already heard marvelous things from Merle. So are there any other things occurring? Hi, Mona. You said that you wouldn't often be here, so when I see you, I'm very happy. Okay, very happy. Anything else in terms of checking in? Things that you'd want to share with the community?
Jeff has his hand up.
Jeff?
Yes, I'm going to be gone for the month of June and the second half of July, but I won't be seeing you for the next 4 weeks or so.
Okay, and do you want to give us a 1-minute update on the strike?
Yeah, the 1-minute update is that we're probably going to be out for months. So I don't see any indication that there's any break at all going on. And I could go into more detail, but unless the legacy media companies, the current broadcast companies decide to make a separate deal, I see this stretching out for the summer, at least.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to go to my local Blockbuster video store and
Yeah.
I can't do that, but I could have. Okay. Doris.
Yes, I just want to say that my beautiful little grandson Noah will be celebrating his first birthday this weekend, and we're having a little party for him. We're very excited.
That's great. That's great. Okay. Now, in terms of checking in, you all know that a new associate rabbi has been named for Wilshire Boulevard.
Yep.
And Risa and I, with whatever we can do, want to offer a word of excited encouragement. Risa especially knew, Risa, why don't you say? I don't have to say for you. I can't hear you.
You're not talking, Risa.
Okay.
I'm not talking because I was doing something and I was muted. Hannah is very bright. She's academic. She is excited, I'm sure, about being in our congregation. And for those who are interested, she is very connected to WRJ because her grandmother is Dolores Wilkenfeld. Some of you know the name Wilkenfeld because of the Wilkenfeld Institute that goes on, International Institute. And Dolores was not only a friend of mine, she was a friend of my mother's, she's completely encased in dementia at this point, lives in Texas. But I'm very excited that Hannah is coming. You're going to be very happy to have her at Resnick campus.
She'll be assigned to the Resnick campus.
Resnick, oh,
Risa and I kind of figure that there could be a very interesting expansion of WRJ at Wilshire with a little bit of time.
It'll take time. It'll take time.
But she's
WRJ born.
Yeah. So that's a very good thing. Okay. Anything else? If not, we are going to go into. Studying what should be studied today, and that is the book of Ruth. And the book of Ruth is connected with Shavuot. And let's see what we have here. Okay. I am screen sharing.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
you're fine. You're fine.
You just say yes as if it's automatic. I was frantic last night reaching out to Hannah and saying, help, I don't know how to do this. And Hannah said, oh, any dummy can do it. I told her on that. She didn't say that.
But you have to make it bigger, Stanley.
What?
I can't read it. It's too small.
You cannot read this, folks?
It's too small.
Just go to view. Just go to view. Yeah, on that line, go to view. Move along the top line there. You got view.
Too small.
And when you get to view, you can tell it to yeah. And you want to hit the green button too. But first, go to view and have it expand. Go to Zoom. Go down to Zoom. Drop down to Zoom. And go to like 150. And
oh,
now,
I see.
and now hit the green. Now
That's
hit
better.
Page width is good too.
And now hit the green button at the top there of the file. No, and I'll go to your file itself that's on the screen. It says Ruth text, and hit the green button.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Okay, why am I hyperventilating? Would anyone please tell me? Okay.
Because you don't.
can you
believe
tell
in
us where we are,
technology.
please, in the book?
We're
are we?
not in the book.
We're not in the book.
And
That's-
that's why we're doing the screen share.
Oh, that's why. There's
Okay.
no Ruth in the book,
of
right?
Ruth, the book of Ruth is the Megillah that is read on Shavuot. Now, normally this would have been read in traditional congregations on Friday. And I believe by making an executive decision, we would not have read this, but now we can. And that means next week, we will fall into the regular Torah reading cycle and get to Naso. So this is my way of trying to adjust. I need somebody, by the way, it's only 4 chapters, and I have edited it down. I've removed a lot of stuff from even the 4 chapters. Let's see what we can do here. Do I have a reader for page 1? Page 1, a reader. Say a name and you can read. Okay, Doris.
Yeah. In the days when the chieftains ruled, there was a famine in the land. And a man of Bethlehem in Judah, with his wife and 2 sons, went to reside in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech. His wife's name was Naomi. And his 2 sons were named Mahlon and Chilion. Ephrathites of Bethlehem and Judah. They came to the country of Moab and remained there. Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth, and they lived there about 10 years. Then those 2, Mahlon and Chilion, who also died. So the woman was left without her 2 sons and without her husband.
Okay, so let's pick up on this and see. We're going to have to figure out why the book of Ruth has been assigned to Shavuot. Why is it read this year? Okay, there was a famine, and a man of Bethlehem with his wife and 2 sons went to reside in the country of Moab. What does the name Moab strike you as? These are important things. They're not incidental details. Moab. In the book of Genesis, Moab is born of an illicit relationship. We might call Moab, the original Moab, a bastard type person, and was regarded as an unfriendly for the people in Judah. So right off, you have the wife and 2 sons go to kind of enemy territory. The man's name Elimelech, the wife's name Naomi, and the 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion. Why is that interesting? Because both of those names mean disease in Hebrew. So disease and even worse were the sons of Naomi. That's a bad sign for the future. Okay? These 2 kids. Oh, how is your son disease doing? You've got a problem. Okay. They were Ephratites from the tribe of Ephraim, and they came to Moab. Elimelech dies. Naomi's husband. They married, Moabite women. Now, Orpah is not the same as that woman commentator on television.
Actually, that's where her family got the name, but they transposed the letters.
Yes, but there you go.
Whatever.
And they married Moabite women. They lived there 10 years. And lo and behold, big surprise, disease and worse, died. Okay, now let's go. Do I have a reader for she started?
It's over.
Okay, who can read page 2, please?
I'll read it.
Steve Miller, go ahead.
Okay. She started out with her daughters-in-law to return from the country of Moab, for in the country of Moab she had heard that the Lord had taken note of his people and given them food. Accompanied by her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living, and they set out on the road back to the land of Judah. But Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Turn back, each of you, to her mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with the dead and with me. May the Lord grant that each of you find security in the house of a husband." And she kissed them farewell. They broke into weeping and said to her, "No, we will return with you to your people."
Okay, what do you pick up from this? What can you help me in terms of commentary? What's going on here?
Well,
Steve?
they're manifesting loyalty.
Okay, wait, let me call on people.
Sorry.
I was going to say that in terms of Shavuos, which is the giving and acceptance of the law, it demonstrates that it's open to everyone who wants to accept it, even people who aren't born into it.
Okay, Steve. The affiliation of the women, how is that done in the ancient world? The ethnic or not the ethnic, the cultural religious identity of the women.
Well, presumably once they go and have a husband with the people with whom they live.
That is correct. So in other words, the normal thing is these two Israelite men, the two men married to Moabitesses, then the daughters-in-law ordinarily would assume to be reconnected with Moab and belong there. Okay? So Naomi says, hey, ladies, go to your mother's house, because that's where you belong, and that's the tradition of the people, and that's where you should end up. Then she blesses them, finds security, kisses them farewell, and they said to her, no, 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 we love you, Naomi. We will go with you, hear the language, to your people. I need a reader for page 3. Okay, I don't see it. I don't see people, so help me with an outcry. Who's there?
Donna had a hand up.
Donna, okay, please.
But Naomi replied, turn back, my daughters. Why should you go with me? Have I any more sons in my body who might be husbands for you? Turn back, my daughters, for I am too old to be married. Even if I thought there was hope for me, even if I were married tonight and I also bore sons, should you wait for them to grow up? Should you, on their account, debar yourselves from marriage? Oh no, my daughters, my lot is far more bitter than yours. For the hand of the Lord has struck out against me. They broke into weeping again, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law farewell, but Ruth clung to her. So she said, see, your sister-in-law has returned to her people and her gods. Go follow your sister-in-law. But Ruth replied, do not urge me to leave you, to turn back and not follow you. For wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God.
Okay. Donna, I'm going to ask you, finish the chapter.
Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. Thus and more may the Lord do to me if anything but death parts me from you. Thus Naomi returned from the country of Moab. She returned with her daughter-in-law, Ruth the Moabite. They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley festival, our barley harvest, sorry.
Well, please don't change the Bible just because it's
The
convenient.
harvest, sorry.
Okay, now, there's a lot here. What does Naomi say to the daughters? Why shouldn't they go with her? Have I any more sons? What is that telling us about the culture? Very important. If Naomi, I don't see hands, so please just speak
Mona
up.
has her hand up.
Okay, Mona.
Well, not only is it a patrilineal society, but I think a woman's chief role is to bear children, especially sons, and they'll have no status, they'll have no real life if they don't have husbands and they don't have children, and they're obviously both still young enough to have children. So she's saying you'll be ruining your life and you'll be nobody, and you'll be poor, and you'll be insecure financially, economically. So you shouldn't go with me.
Okay, there is also other stuff here.
This is Marina.
Marina, please.
In families also, if a husband dies, the brother of the husband is supposed to marry the widow and give her children. And what Naomi is saying, I don't have any other sons to give you as husbands, and I will not have them even if I got married and had a baby, because it will be too late for you to bear children when they grow up.
This is what's called a levirate, Levirate, a levirate marriage. And Marina is totally correct. If the husband dies and his widow is childless, that's the key, then there has to be a goel, a redeemer, and that would be the dead husband's brother, first reign, okay? He would be the first one. And
Does he have to be single?
I'm sorry?
Does he have to be single?
Mm-mm.
In those days, the answer is no.
Mm-mm.
And the good news is that if the son, if there is a son, marries the widow childless, he not only marries her, but gets whatever real property she has, so that there is a financial incentive for the levirate marriage. So she says, turn back, I'm too old, I'm not going to get married. And if I were married tonight and bore sons, would you wait? Oh no, my daughters, my life is far better. Listen what she says, but the hand of the Lord has struck out against me. Give me a 1 minute on the theodicy, on the view of God's justice here. What is she saying? For the hand that she's looking at her tragedies, her husband, her sons, and what does she say?
I want to be alone. She says, I want to be alone.
I want to be alone. And this is the work of God. All that happens according to the word of God. We don't have any evidence that Naomi was a traditionally observant or were religious in any particular sense, but she really has absorbed the theodicy. I am miserable. God brought this upon. They broke into weeping. Orpah kissed her mother farewell. Ruth clung to her. I would like to point out, because I love etymology, the word Orpah is related to the word oreph, which means backbone. Or, put it differently, Orpah, the stubborn one. The names tell us things. Orpah, the stubborn one, said, okay, hasta la vista, Ima, I'm staying. Orpah, the stiff-necked one, but Ruth clung to her. Look what Naomi says. Your sister-in-law's returning to her people and her God. The assumption that when she was married to Naomi's son, she was worshiping the God of Judah. But now she's going to go back to her people, presumably to remarry, and she'll have another set of gods. Okay? Tell me about what happens now with Ruth. From this to the end of the chapter, what happens with Ruth?
Comes a judge.
Boaz comes into the picture.
What happens to Ruth? She says, don't urge me, for wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you lodge, your people, my people. Your people, my people means your God, my God.
We'll say that the way things ended up.
So what is happening with Ruth?
He's joining the Jewish people.
She is joining the Jewish people. Though she is not married any longer to a Jewish person, she is saying, I'm joining your people. And by joining your people, I am embracing your God. Wherever you die, I will die, and I'll be buried. May God do to me, if anything but death parts me and you. Last point. Donna read this with enthusiasm. They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. Why is that important?
Rabbi,
Please.
well, the story has a frame. I mean, it begins with a plague and it ends with a harvest. So I think that it seems like there's something symbolic going on here.
Absolutely. And when does Shavuot occur?
At the barley harvest.
The barley harvest. In other words, we're looking for reasons why this Megillah, this scroll, which is found in the 3rd section of the Bible, why it's read on Shavuot. So you have one thing is the conversion of Ruth. The second is the timing. Chag HaBikurim, the festival of the first fruits, Shavuot, barley harvest, boom, double connection. Now I'm going to ask, go back to the top of page 4, and your people shall be my people, your God, my God. Tell me about conversion. How does it happen in those days?
Just by saying it.
It's not like Trump and the papers at Mar-a-Lago. But by saying whom was or what was Ruth embracing?
Judaism, the people.
The people.
People.
The people. And folks, I'm going to say to you that the identification with the people, here comes that word again, trumps the embrace of the faith. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can't see faces. This is really weird. But your people are my people, and therefore your God, my God. That the core element is an embrace of the people. Nothing will separate. Okay, any question before we go on to chapter 2? And Risa, may I ask you please for a little?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Any question about this? We're going to go on.
Say, Rabbi.
Please.
No.
I don't have a question, but I think
thought I
it's
heard
interesting.
Brad. Was that Brad? Okay, maybe not. Please go ahead.
Okay, so my comment is that as then, all she had to do was embrace the people and Judaism.
Can't see your
Now,
hand.
in today's
He can't
world,
see your hand. He can't
today's
see
world,
because this is his
for
screen.
however
He
many
can't see
years
people.
it's been, now you take a 2-year class, so to
There's
speak.
no mikvah. There's no Beit Din.
Right.
There's no study for a year. She embraced the people and became a member of that community.
Rabbi,
Yes.
it's Harvey.
Harvey,
Does
please.
this argue that Judaism is really based as a family and not as a religion? If you join the
Harvey,
people,
that is so good. Thank you. It certainly argues for that, at least at its beginning stages. Harvey, that if someone would reject the Jewish faith. I do not believe in God. I do not believe in religion. I do not believe in any of the Jewish practices. I'm out of the Jewish religion. Harvey, is that person still a Jew?
No, it's my cousin Peter.
Wait, this is recorded. Let's not do that. Okay. The answer is that person is still a Jew. From the beginning, you can reject all elements of Jewish faith. I'm moving my hand up and down very enthusiastically. You can reject all elements of the Jewish religion, but you are still a member of the Jewish people. Questions?
Stannis, your wife. I think there's another side to this that we have to note also. It's immediate acceptance by the people of the person who, if you will, converts. And that's very important.
Not only that, acceptance of a Moabitess.
Yeah, they're not friends.
Yeah, it's not just an acceptance of this lovely young woman who said, I want to live with the Jewish people, they're my people. But she comes from a disreputable family background. And the text is saying here, bring her in. She wants to be part of us. Very good point. Let's go on because we have to run.
Rabbi, it's Mona. May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
I do not see in the text what Risa was just suggesting, that the community would automatically accept Ruth. I've always thought that this declaration, your people will be my people, your God will be my God, is particularly affecting because there is no guarantee that she'll be accepted. She is leaving the traditional path. She's leaving her own people, and she's saying, I'm going to do this, which to me demonstrates that to be in the Jewish community, to be a Jew, it's based on conduct. But I didn't think that the text actually discloses any guarantee that she'll be accepted.
Now, I see Rebecca has her hand up, but in chapter 2, you will see that acceptance clicking right in.
Oh, of course. I mean, I know what happens in the story, but at this stage, I think there is risk. She is taking a risk, which makes it a more powerful, for me, it makes it a more emotional and powerful statement on Ruth's part.
If you will, I'm going to walk with you on this and say that when I'm sitting across the table at a Beit Din with a potential or a convert on the way, that convert has two challenges, at least. One, the reaction of that person's family, all the psychological issues, rejection, and even religious fear that the individual from certain fundamentalist families, that the person is going to go straight to hell. The other is, can a somewhat sclerotic Jewish people embrace with love and without question someone who chooses to join us? And when I said somewhat sclerotic, that was nasty, and it was intended because there are members of our community who reject the possibility of conversion. And I know these people. I meet these people. I have officiated at a wedding when the groom's mother said to me of her newly converted daughter-in-law, in my eyes, she'll never be Jewish. At the wedding.
Wow.
Okay? And that's one. I don't mean it's isolated. It's one of many. I go back. A somewhat sclerotic Jewish community doesn't know how to embrace converts and the care and attention that they need. The people must embrace. Now we're going to, Rebecca.
And
I just wanted to add that in all of the Bible stories, they've always accepted the foreigners. They've always embraced the foreigners that traveled among them throughout the Bible stories.
I'm going to have to challenge that. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. But the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude that went with the Israelites out of Egypt, were constantly pointed to as the source of trouble. So it's not always easy to say that we have been open to the stranger. Mostly, we have been open to the stranger who chooses to live in our midst and follow our traditions. But even that is contingent. Chapter 2.
Rabbi, one last.
I'm sorry?
One last comment. What's so surprising to me about the story is that a plague was considered at the time to be an act of divine anger at the people. And here, Naomi has lost her husband, her 2 sons, and yet Ruth is willing to, despite that, despite this expression of divine wrath, is willing to join this people and to accept this God. And her psychology is, this is another one of those fabulous instances in the Torah where we really don't know what's going on in these people's minds when they take a step like this.
She'd been living with this group and she chose to throw her lot in with.
She's been living with the family for 10 years. Now I am going to say
So is the other woman.
I'm going to say something about the family into which the convert is joining. Their reaction, the people they are, how they live their Jewish identity is crucial for the maturation of the actual conversion experience. She formed an attachment with Naomi. That was critically important. Okay, I need someone to read the chapter 2 through the bottom of page 5.
I'll read.
Okay.
Now Naomi had a kinsman on her husband's side, a man of substance of the family of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, I would like to go to the fields and glean among the ears of grain behind someone who may show me kindness. Yes, daughter, go, she replied. Now, there is our kinsman Boaz.
No. You have to go back to page 5.
And off she went.
Yep.
She came and gleaned in a field behind the reapers, and as luck would have it, it was the piece of land belonging to Boaz, who was of Elimelech's family. Her mother-in-law asked her, where did you glean today? Where did you work? Blessed be he who took such generous notice of you. So she told her mother-in-law whom she had worked with, saying, the name of the man with whom I work today is Boaz. Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, blessed be he of the Lord, who has not failed in his kindness to the living or to the dead. For, Naomi explained to her daughter-in-law, the man is related to us He is one of our redeeming kinsmen.
Okay, now again, we're talking about the levirate marriage, which in Hebrew is called chalitza, the levirate marriage. And it happens, of course, happenstance is good. Naomi, by chance, had a relative. He was a rich guy, right? Related. Now, this is important. Related to the dead father, Elimelech. Name was Boaz. So they're going to do this little song and dance, getting to meet and you know, Boaz's family. So maybe he'll let Ruth go and glean barley and whatever. And it all works out well. The name of the man was Boaz. Wow, Naomi says, this is unreal. Look what Naomi has immediately grabbed. The man is related to us. He is one of our redeeming kinsmen. It means in English, in the bloodline, he is one of those authorized to marry Ruth. And the deal in Jewish law, the first son will bear the name and the connection with her first deceased husband. That's what the redeeming kinsman can do. He can give the dead husband a child to carry on his name and tradition. Before we run, because it is running time, any question about this?
I just wanted to say that this concept of levirate marriage figures in the TV series called Dark Diamonds that's playing on Netflix. That's about Haredi Jews that are in the diamond community in Antwerp, and it's
Rough diamonds.
Rough diamonds. Is it rough diamonds? Anyhow, whatever it is, and it's a really nice. I think it's a really excellent series about Hungarian Jews and has a lot of Yiddish in it.
Yeah, Risa is loving Rough Diamonds. I have not watched it, but I'm aware of the story. Now,
it's 3 languages, 5 languages actually.
Chapter 3.
The Netherlands.
I want to move to page 6.
Gotcha.
To page 6, and where it says she went down to the threshing floor. What this means is Naomi sends Ruth back to draw close and have Boaz draw close to her. Okay? Boaz notes her. Now, Ruth goes down to the threshing floor. I need a reader, page 6 and to the end of chapter 3. Reader? She went down to the threshing floor.
Okay, David Caden.
Go ahead, David. Thank you.
She went down to the threshing floor and did just as her mother-in-law had instructed her. And now, daughter, have no fear. I will do in your behalf whatever you ask. For all the elders of my town know what a fine woman you are.
Right. This is Boaz talking. It's not clear, but it's Boaz. Okay, go on.
But while it is true I am a redeeming kinsman, there's another redeemer closer than I. Stay for the night. Then in the morning, if he will act as a redeemer, good. Let him redeem. But if he does not want to act as redeemer for you, I will do so myself. As the Lord lives, lie down until morning. And Naomi said, stay here, daughter, till you learn how the matter turns out. For the man will not rest, but will settle the matter today.
I will now point out that this is a very strong feminist book. The women are controlling the narrative. The women are making decisions. And the book is a celebration of the feminine role in ancient Judaism. So Ruth is the controlling figure here, and that's good. Commentators say the following: consider Ruth as part of a chain of stories of women dealing with infertility and triumph. This book is in a tradition. Can you name a couple of other people, women in that tradition?
Sarah.
Pardon?
Sarah.
Go on.
Tamar.
Go on.
Hannah.
We have Hannah. We have Rachel. We have Sarah. Right?
Tamar.
Yes, Tamar. This is all connected. Now, I don't want to say that the mother-in-law is pimping her daughter-in-law out. That would not be nice. But Boaz says, hey, Ruth, spend the night. Naomi says, stay with him. Okay? I assume nothing happened. Now, chapter 4, this is important. Please, chapter 4, who's going to read?
I'll read.
Okay, thank you.
Meanwhile, Boaz had gone to the gate and sat down there, and now the Redeemer, whom Boaz had mentioned, passed by.
There
He
was
called-
another Redeemer closer in relationship to Ruth's dead husband. Go on.
He called, come over and sit down here, so-and-so, and he came over and sat down.
This
Then
is a funny moment because the Hebrew says Ploni Almoni. It is you whose name will never enter Jewish history. That's exactly what it's saying. Go ahead, please.
Then Boaz took 10 elders of the town and said, be seated here. And they sat down. Does that have anything to do with why we need a minyan?
Not in particular, means that the minyan already was established. But go ahead, please.
He said to the Redeemer, Naomi, now returned from the country of Moab, must sell the piece of land which belonged to our kinsman Elimelech. So when the Redeemer said to Boaz, acquire for yourself, he drew off his sandal, which I think relates to the divorce proceeding or the non-acceptance of the levirate marriage.
The term drew off his sandal in Hebrew is chalitza. That's the term used for a levirate marriage. The removal of the sandal, who knows its origin, is the symbol that everyone is giving up claims to Boaz. Go ahead.
And Boaz said to the elders and to the rest of the people, you are witnesses today that I am acquiring from Naomi all that belonged to Elimelech and all that belonged to Chilion and Machlon. I am also acquiring Ruth the Moabite, the wife of Machlon, as my wife, so as to perpetuate the name of the deceased upon his estate, that the name of the deceased may not disappear from among his kinsmen and from the gate of his hometown. You are witnesses today.
Now, I'm going to have to stop here. Thank you for the reading. Thank you for your cooperation. And Hannah, thank you for getting me onto this thing.
I was 100.
What's going to happen?
Yeah. You want Dr. Rafi's number? Or his number. I used to have a cell phone number, but I went to Mexico.
That's auto talk.
You want his number? Yes, please. Thank you.
What happens here, if you will, at the bottom of page 9, Boaz marries Ruth. They have a son, Oved. Oved is the father of Jesse. Jesse is the father of King David. what happens here, and forgive me for just running because we're doing pretty well. First of all, God's plan governs totally in all that's going on. Secondly, a convert becomes what? The grandmother?
Great-grandmother.
Yeah, is that
Great-grandmother.
great-grandmother of King David? The convert becomes the great-grandmother of King David, and therefore the ancestor of the Messiah. Do we all get this? This is astonishingly powerful. Astonishingly powerful. Judaism is defined as a people with a faith. Converts are accepted lovingly and willingly. Last point, the time when this book was written is probably post-exilic, during the time of Ezra and Nehemiah, when there was a great problem with intermarriage. And the book is a reflection of a decision made at the highest spiritual level. If you convert into Judaism, you are part of our people, and we are happy to have you. I'm going to stop here. We're going to go to the yard sites.
I can't find his number. Will you come later? I don't know where now. Give me your phone number, I will call.
Eric,
Arthur, mute.
mute.
He did.
Arthur, okay.
Okay, I am now stop sharing. Oh, I did it. I did it. Okay. Okay, I don't mean to be enthusiastic. We mentioned now, oh, hi, Maya. Hi, Lynn. I didn't see all these people here. How nice. Okay. Yes, I'm hyper because it worked. And that's when I run for president of the United States, I don't need anything but Hannah Gohl and our Zoom to make my announcement over the world. Okay?
Do we have to do Yisker now? We're gonna go to Yisker.
Well, yeah, but first let me do your site, Risa.
Go ahead.
Those who have passed away during the past month: Karl Kovitz, Rabbi Julian Franklin Feingold, Jerry Fleischman, Louis Goldman, Colette Sirio Gohl, Molly Gohl, Jeffrey Kessler, Tammy Leventhal, Karen Levy, Gloria Meyer, Molly Loomer Remock, Naum Tichman, Linda Wolf, Sandra Sandy Zwern. And the names of those the artsites of whom had occurred during this past week: Candace Abel, Henry Baker, Lena Barkin, Irving Karen, Marilyn Blank, Jonathan Flitch, Dorothy Stephen Block, Sarah Bloom, Suzanne Batansky, Sandra Brown, Ann Brown, Vanessa Brown, Janice Catafo, Jack Cohn, Morton Cohen, Rosalind Denzinger, Sally Dickman, Jack Epstein, Mary Epstein, Erica Fallick, Gerald Bruce Fetterman, Robert Feldman, Regina Fisher, Etta Fisher, Sherma Frank, Bernard Friedman, Solomon Friedman, Sybil Frischling, Doris Frost, Louis Garr, Norman Gallup, Samuel Gary, Rochelle Ginsburg, Samuel Glasgow, Robert Edward Gordon, Richard Gross, Samuel Goober, Leo Gutman, Andrea Lynn Hattenbach, Stanley Heisler, Leah Holes, Sam Horn, Lewis Jackson, Clarence Jacobson, Rose Jaffe, Max Kay, Jeanette Kerner, Irving Kalpas, Samuel Corin, Hy Leonard, Loretta Leonard, Gerald Levin, Victor Ludwig, Edith Marcus, Lenore Meltzer, Edna Mosk, Yvonne Nash, Jadida Nirvana, Ben Nitzberg, Donald Optican, Mitzi Palick, Arthur Platt, Frida Rosenberg, Shirley Ross, Esther Schulman, Diane Schwartz, Israel Zanitsky, Sally Shadlin, Michael Shapiro, Sarah Shapiro, Samuel Shapiro, Louis Sherman, Esther Shore, Nettie Shrelo, Sidney Siegel, Lawrence Zilberkleit, Jenny Rose Stein, Arlene Stone, Sorrel Trope, Suzanne Tuck, Shirley Lee Tuck, Sylvia Vicio, Rose Vitoff, Murray Reingrad, Geraldine Woolworth, Joanne Wolf, Melvin Wyckoff, Constance Zola. We mention as well in our hearts the names of all of those who died in defense of the state of Israel, those who died in defense of the United States, those who were lost through mindless acts of terror, those whom we bear in our hearts always. If you have other names that you would like to speak, please. I see Aryeh Richard Nanis. If you have any other names, please speak them aloud.
Rose Caden.
Yitkadal, Yitkadash, May Rabbah, Bialmad, Ra, Ivrite, Yamlich Malchute, V'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chayedechon, Ba'agala, Izman Karev, V'imru Amen, May Rabbah, V'varach, Li'olam Li'omei Almaya, Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shmei Kudishah, Brichu, Le'ela Min Kol Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, Nechamata, Damiran Bialma, Bimru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, Bimru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Romav, Hu Ya'aseh Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, Bimru Amen. May God, who makes peace in the high places, make peace in our hearts, make peace in our homes, make peace in the household of Israel, make peace among all the families and nations of earth, and let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Chag Sameach. Thank you for your patience with me today. I hope it went well for you. We studied the book of Ruth. That was a good thing to do. Okay.
Thank you. That was
Love
great.
you all. Chag Sameach.
Thank you.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Barbara,
Shalom.
Barbara, did you pick a movie yet? Barbara, you're on mute. You're on